Corner with Jen from the Blue Mountains Public Library. I hope you have all had a fabulous week so far. So, this week's activity booklet, its theme is Stars and Constellations. So, when you pick up your activity kit, you'll have either your puzzle or board game, a couple of books, your activity kit, your craft will be in there. So what we provide for this craft, you will find 6 popsicle sticks and several pieces of colored tissue paper. What you will need from home will be a marker or a pencil just to help you trace some triangles, some scissors. You can use a glue stick, a white glue, or a hot glue gun, but always remember, if you're using a hot glue gun, just make sure that you have a grown-up around to help you out, because we would never want anyone to burn their fingertips. And then your activity booklet has some fun word searches, some counting star games, connect the dots, creating some constellations, and of course, the back page is always the craft corner activity. This week's bookmark, we have some super cool fun facts about constellations and stars. Did you know that our sun is a star? So when you get a sunburn, you are getting a star burn. Kind of cool, right? Okay, so you guys gather your supplies and we'll meet right back here and we'll be on to our first steps. Okay guys, so as I mentioned earlier, today's craft is we will be making our own stained glass star. In your kit, you will have 6 popsicle sticks and some colored tissue paper. If you would like for your tissue paper to have more of the stained glass effect, like in the image in the activity book, you can actually take some washable markers if you have them at home, color some shapes and whatnot on the tissue paper beforehand, and lightly mist it so it's damp to watch the marker color spread through the tissue. It's almost like tie-dyeing it. You have to then set it aside for probably about a half an hour to let it dry completely before starting the craft. If you're just going to use the yellow tissue paper, awesome. But again, these crafts are about being as creative as you want. So again, use your creativity and have lots of fun. So you'll have your tissue paper and your 6 popsicle sticks. From home, you will need glue. So you can use white glue, a glue stick. If you have a hot glue gun, always make sure to have a grown-up around to make sure that you're using it safely. And that's about it. Or markers if you're going to want to be using the markers. So step number 1, we're going to take 3 of our 6 popsicle sticks and we're going to glue them into a triangle shape. If you're using white glue, give yourself some extra time for it to completely dry. And we'll meet right back here and then we'll be off to step number 2. Okay, so step 1 complete. We have glued together our first triangle. We're now going to take one of our tissue paper sheets. We are going to place the first triangle on it. And I have a marker. If you have a marker, use a marker. If you have a pencil, use a pencil. And I'm going to roughly just give myself, a guide for cutting. And then I'm going to cut out my triangle for my first star. Okay, so I have that cut out. And I'm just going to trim it just a little bit because it's a little bit too wide. Okay, so So once you have it cut, you are then going to glue it to the back of your very first triangle. You guys get onto that and we'll meet right back here for our next step. Okay, so I have placed some glue on the edges of my popsicle stick. I am going to take my tissue paper and I'm going to press it on to the glue. And then anywhere where I have some overhang, I'm going to take my scissors and just cut the extra away. Okay? So just remember, if you're using white glue, the drying will just take a little bit longer. So while you're waiting for the tissue paper to dry, you can set it aside and you can start constructing your next triangle. So the same way we did our first, glue all 3 pieces together and we'll be on to the next step. Okay, triangle number 2 is glued. And now we are going to do the exact same thing we did with our first one. We're going to take another piece of tissue paper, place our triangle on there, give ourselves a guide for cutting. Okay, and we're gonna get that piece cut out. Okay, that is cut out. And now we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to glue our tissue paper onto our triangle. And once it's dry, any extra overhang of tissue paper, we're just going to trim it off neatly. And then we're going to set them aside to completely dry. And then we're going to create our star. All right, friends, so we have our 2 triangles. Now we're going to have our triangles facing, so the glued side facing down, okay? And that is what we are going to do. So we're going to put some glue. And I'm still here. I'm just getting my glue gun ready. Okay, so let's get the glue on our edges again. And we are going to glue it down. If you guys have any yarn at home, you can always put a dab of glue on the end of it with a loop so you can hang your beautiful stained glass stars in your window. Well, my friends, and there you have it, your stained glass star. So just remember, if you'd like to give your tissue paper some different colors through it, you can always do that by grabbing some water-based markers, drawing some shapes and some lines into it, and then if you have a spray bottle at home, lightly mist the tissue paper and you'll actually see the marker spread through it, set aside to dry, and then you can have almost like a tie-dye effect on your tissue paper. Remember, we always encourage you to get as creative as you want with your activities. I'm just here as a guide. If you find a different technique or a different way to make your own stained glass star, by all means, do it, have fun, be as creative as you want to be. For those of you who are lovers of Stars and Constellations, April 15th, Ian Wheelband from the Royal Astronomical Society will be with us at the library, virtually of course, at 8 p.m. with his program Through the Telescope. Ian will be showing us, if the skies are clear, some live images of different stars and galaxies and constellations that are common for us to see during the spring season. Registration is required for that event, so ask a grown-up to head on over to the Blue Mountains Public Library event calendar, April 15th, through the telescope. And if it's something that you're interested in, please register. The Royal Astronomical Society programs are always super engaging, super fun, and always very, very, very insightful. I hope you guys had lots of fun, and I can't wait to see you guys again next week at 4:30 Tuesday for some more Kids Craft Corner. Until then, bye!